Well, I'm going to get into gaslighting and flush that out a little bit later. But right now, I'm going to do what every good teacher and every good instructor should always do, and that's kind of sum up and go over what I think we should have gotten from this discussion. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number one, I think there's 4 things that we really should do from this point out that are going to help us uh, get in touch with and control the psychopathic force that seems to be infecting the planet. First of all, I think that we all need to acknowledge that there's a predatory species within our species. It's like a subspecies, and it's preying on us. It's dedicated to death and destruction, and we're focused on life and thriving and renewal.
Mm-hmm.
So just acknowledge that there's something there, and it's not just another person. It's not just somebody who's got blind ambition. They're really different. They're wired very differently. Second of all, I think that we should open our eyes and recognize them. When we've been lied to 2 or 3 times, I think we should really suspect that that's a psychopath. When someone is taking advantage of other people ruthlessly, when people are advocating war, or actually violence in any kind except maybe self-protection, I think we should recognize that that person could be a psychopath. I also think that for number 3, that we should stop worshiping these psychopaths. They're not in control with you. They're not superior to you. They're just other people or other entities that are not working on your behalf. And just because they have money and just because they have power doesn't mean that you should be in awe of them, especially if they're a psychopath and they got it through generally devious means, manipulation, lying, and deceit.
Yeah.
So people like Bill Gates, who else could we name? I don't know, Henry Kissinger. I think everybody's on to the fact that he's a real case. Stop idolizing these people.
Yeah, and it probably even more, especially the people in the entertainment industry or the newscasters, or because anytime you give your attention to something, doesn't that energize it and enable it to continue?
Sure does.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we're feeding the psychopaths.
I'm
by
wondering
this.
if we are, just by giving them any of our attention.
I think that's a really good observation. So stop worshiping them. And 4, I think that we should begin as humanity, as sane, empathetic, feeling, wonderful, creative humanity. I think we should start holding psychopaths to account. I mean, it used to be, I'm an old codger, but I can remember back when morality was pretty simple. If you're hurting someone, that's a crime. Then we've got victimless crimes coming in, which I still don't understand. There's common law. You just shouldn't kill other people. You shouldn't take other things that don't belong to you. There's common law, and there's morals, and there's natural law. People don't be deceived by people that are acting outside of these moral limits and convincing you that it's all right. I don't think it's all right. I think they should be held to the same standards. If someone's caught lying to Congress, whatever Congress does to liars, or used to do to liars, I think it should hold true. I mean, if you really want to minimize the influence without doing away with governments altogether, hold them to account. Okay, and then I wrote down 3 things that we really shouldn't be doing with psychopaths.
What do you got?
One, don't try to cure them. Stay clear. Nobody's ever been able to cure them. They're, who knows? But they'll play you like a fish. If you try to work with them, I think, I heard some interviews between counselors, and it looked like the psychopath was just playing the psychologist.
Well, they're the masters of manipulation.
Yeah,
so.
they're incredible.
Expect anything from them.
Right. And that leads me to my second one. Don't be around them. If you have a psychopath in your life, get out of that. They're only out for themselves, and they'll only hurt you and your children and whatever they can. And the third thing, don't witch hunt.
What does that mean?
That means don't mount an effort to root out every psychopath and burn them at the stake, or I think that we should really watch out with who we're labeling psychopaths, but really look for behaviors. If you do this, this, and this, and this, well, then I think that there's a good chance that you could be a psychopath. But don't witch hunt. Don't use our scratch and sniff psychopath detector mechanism when we were speculating on. Know that they're there. Don't look around for ones that aren't there.
Mm-hmm. Just file this away in your filing cabinet of information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I said I was going to get into gaslighting.
All right, let's do it.
Now, gaslighting is a common thing used by psychopaths, and it's got its name from a 1944 film called Gaslight, in which the male character tried to drive the female character insane, make her believe she was insane. He did it by lowering and raising the gas lights to trick her. Also, gaslighting, I mean, you could tell somebody, hey, look at that beautiful blue painting over there. And the person would say, no, that's not blue, that's red. And you say, well, no, that's blue. And then you'd call a friend over, and he'd say, yeah, it's blue also. So you'd start wondering if you could trust your senses, wonder if you could trust your perception. And gradually, it can be recommended that you might be so uncertain that they can have you institutionalized or take advantage of you through your psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what gaslighting is. And that's why I think when William Casey said that our business won't be complete until everything the American public believes is false, I think they've launched a gaslighting campaign against the entire United States, or the entire world for that matter.
Yeah, against humanity.
Right. They're trying to make you believe that you're crazy. I mean, like things like the FDA. I mean, the FDA approves aspartame. It doesn't approve raw milk, which is one of the best things on the planet. They radiate all supermarket foods, even though any level of radiation, they've been telling us for years, is bad. They put mercury in the vaccines. Well, maybe it's because the psychopaths love killing. But then when you question it, they say, oh, mercury, remember we used to think it was bad for you? Well, now we think it's good for you. So having a vaccine is just like having another boost of vitamin C in your arm.
Mm.
And then there was the English PIE group. It's Pedophile International or something like that. They were lobbying to get and they had actual legislators in England interested in lowering the age of consent to 4.
Isn't that the most ridiculous thing? Well, yes, it reminds me of that Daniel Ellsner quote that David Icke likes to tell about everything being upside down and backwards.
Yeah.
Doctors destroy health. I don't remember the whole quote, but
yeah.
I mean,
right on target.
Everything that you think you knew is
is gone.
Yeah.
That's why the Sandy Hook is such a mind blower. I mean, they let things go wrong, people be identified. I mean, Sandy Hook is just a mind screw. It is just if you had an opinion on Sandy Hook, there's 100 different ways of looking at it and 100 different levels. It's just, how can we make it crazy? And I think that's what they've been
They're
doing.
doing a really good job of it.
So anyway, stick with sanity, call out craziness, don't watch TV, and now you know a little bit
And know
more.
who you're dealing with.
And know who you're dealing with. Their psychopaths are out there and they're in full operation and they want your beliefs.
Right, and if you have that awareness, then they can no longer trick you and control you, because what they do becomes so transparent that you can just look at it and laugh at it almost.
That's exactly right. You know that they're setting you up for things. You know that they're telling you certain things so that you'll think certain ways so that you would do certain things.
Yeah.
And we've been playing into their hands for thousands of years. It's just now we might have stopped. You know, there was a couple of months ago we decided not to go to war with Syria, even though all the powerful psychopaths were doing everything they could to get us to go. So we might be waking up to them, and it might be because we're finding out about what we're dealing with.
Right, and getting a little more savvy. Yeah. Well, that was great. We should probably wrap this up because I think we're coming to the end of our second hour. This was really a great education for me. I learned a lot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
You had some
thank
good
you.
questions there.
That was great. Yeah. So, for the listening audience, we'd like to invite you to visit our blog, pineconeutopia.yolasite.com, and buy the book, Buy Belief Magic, Decoding the Belief Matrix. Another good piece of information to arm yourself with in the fight for freedom.
Right. Also, we have things that are called Ununiversity, and Mindy's been really working and keeping it up to date on. Every time we discover something or find a new breakthrough, we'll try to put it on there. So if you spend some time on that website, you'll be thinking kind of the way we are. And we'd love to have your comments on any of those videos that we have up there.
Yeah, we would. And in fact, you were mentioning Sandy Hook, and I think it was last month we discovered 6 or 7 different really great documentaries into the Sandy Hook hoax. So they're in there in Ununiversity. That's just an example of what you'll find in the place that we list the things we've seen recently. Oh, and one more thing I almost forgot. I wanted to mention the new show that we have been recording with Jeff Beller and Susan Coman on Going Beyond Radio, with the same title as the name of your book, Belief Magic. And we're talking about the contents of Belief Magic, chapter by chapter, actually. So we're doing a series of discussions about Belief Magic. So tune in. I don't know when it will be aired, but check out the website, Going Beyond Radio. That's where The World Beyond Belief is aired every Friday night at 10 p.m.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
No, that's all. Did we have a link to Going Beyond? We're going to put a link to Going
We'll
Beyond.
put a link in the show description.
To Going Beyond Radio.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'd be great. Okay, yeah, no, I'm just happy to have everybody around. It was a thrill doing this, and I hope we were informative and maybe a little silly and entertaining.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right, well, until next time, don't forget, be nice to each other.